Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Proudly displaying our Well Health Safety Seal this morning. Welcome to it. You can listen in total confidence that we have the highest protocols of cleanliness known to broadcasting. So, yeah, you're safe. You won't be getting anything from us today.
We have a clean bingo card, too.
We sure do.
Brand spanking new.
Mm-hmm.
Wiped it down with some Clorox before we started.
Mm-hmm.
Exciting.
It's this week's bingo card.
Yeah, so if you want to play, you go to Twitter at Pat Unleashed.
Yeah.
Print it up and play along and call to win.
Starts in the upper left-hand corner with All Up in Here. Then we have NFL Reels music, of course, where usually something like on the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, the Warriors took the field for the second half. Bronco Nagurski led the way, his left eye dangling from its socket, half his skull missing, both legs torn from his body just above the knee, and his right arm being used as the locker doorstop. It's pretty tough. So something like that would take place when you hear the music.
Dude's
probably.
Right arm was used as the locker room doorstop?
Yeah, he was a tough guy, man.
Totally tough.
Yeah, totally. Completely. Just brutally tough.
Yeah.
Those days don't come back.
No.
Another square.
Oh.
But they don't.
They don't come back for Bronco Nagurski days either.
No, they don't. Couple postum. Ouch. Yes.
Thank you, Corby.
Also, it's...
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
I love that one. Then we have this classic.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
All right. Okay. Jeffy saying, do you? Yoda? No. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. No. I'll thank you not to mock. Rounds out that line. I am Patrick of Helena, son of Joseph. Then there's Get Off Me. If you love it so much, why don't you marry it? Or center square. The Obama tooth whistle is interesting. So, then Jeffy, bougie. Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. Scattered showers of journalism. Keith saying,
that's crazy, Jay.
You got Jeffy.
So if we put the 18-minute together along with the 7-minute together, you got 22 minutes. You sell it with 8 minutes of ads, you got 30 minutes.
All right. All right. The ever-popular, I got some cattle. I'm driving to the town. Then we have this admonishment from...
So let's use brain cells before we post things on the internet. Thanks.
She, of course, said that after making a complete fool of herself.
Right, exactly. Then Jeffy, 3 cuts to clown face. Man unit. This classic from Al Roker.
You pooped in your pants.
I pooped my pants.
My pants. Carry the 1. 0. None. So there's your Pat Gray bingo card for the week. Should be fun. Score bingo for some lucky person. Sometime during the course of the week. Could happen today. I mean, it's happened on a Monday before, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow.
Certainly a Tuesday. It's happened on a Tuesday before. But you never know. It could be all the way to the last break on Friday. You just have to pay attention. So the new Georgia bill, man, is it brutal and racist and hateful. Apparently, if they show up to the polling place, minorities are just shot in the head. Yeah, anybody who doesn't look really pasty white just gets a bullet to the brain when they come to the polling place.
I think that's one provision from the law that we're all against.
Yeah, I think most of us would say, no, I can't really support that. Fortunately, it's actually not in there. More like now you have to serve a 7-course meal of pheasant under glass for everybody in line as they're voting. Make sure you have some champagne for him as well to drink. Just a ridiculous amount of nonsense over this. And Major League Baseball did, in fact, pull the All-Star game out of Georgia because of it. I don't know.
Over a lie. Over lies.
It is. They are lies. They are absolutely 100% lies. And it came from Biden over and over and over again. Biden lied about it through his teeth last week.
Yep.
Multiple times.
Well, when you're an empty shell for Marxists to use as a tool, you'll say what they want you to say in the further destruction of America, and that's
exactly what happened. I love this, though. Of course, Biden called it Jim Crow on steroids. I mean, where do you even get that? It doesn't hamper minorities in any way. There is nothing here that made it harder for minorities to vote. Nothing. Even if you did say you can't have water in line, it doesn't make it any harder for minorities than anybody else in line to vote.
Right. And that's not even the case.
And it's not the case.
I mean,
right.
They're saying campaigns can't give you that. Oh, my gosh. This is so
ridiculous. So, a couple of people have taken note. This is great. Well, let me show you what Jen Psaki was asked by an actual reporter. The White House press conference actually asked a good question of Psaki. And
I will have to
circle
circle back on that one.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Okay, I guess we're going to have to circle back. I thought I sent that. Did I not?
I don't see that on here, and I didn't see that either.
Really? You didn't see it either? No one saw it.
No one saw it.
No one saw it. I saw it.
Did you?
How did I not communicate that to anyone else?
I don't know. I'm looking for it right now.
Okay. Maybe I just thought I need to send this, and it never happened. That is possible. But she was asked the same kind of thing that Dan Crenshaw brought up, because Dan Crenshaw said, okay, you're going to pull out of Georgia because of this voting law. Are you also preparing to pull the U.S. out of the Beijing Olympics?
That's good stuff.
They have some pretty stringent laws. Are you going to encourage the U.S. Olympic Committee to pull us out?
Yeah. Not only that, Major League Baseball just expanded their streaming contract with China. I mean, there's hypocrisy all around.
It's unbelievable.
It truly is sickening.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's...
Jeez. Yeah, Psaki was asked, and she denied that Biden was explicitly calling for a boycott. Yeah, that's not the point. He did say it was a great idea or something to that effect, that it would be pulled out. He strongly was in favor of pulling out of the Major League Baseball game, and then he went on to describe aspects of the bill that were a total and complete lie. So it's nauseating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as a lot of people were pointing out over the weekend, Major League Baseball requiring that ID to go and pick up your tickets to baseball games. If you ever go and pick them up at will call.
What?
Yeah, I know, right?
What? So they don't want any minorities coming to games? Is that it?
That's what I'm hearing.
They don't want a single minority to show up at a Major League Baseball game.
That's what it feels like. And all of the corporations that latched onto this populist bullcrap have the same kind of policies.
It's incredible how this lie just spreads and expands and everybody repeats it. And then as people are saying, no, it is completely untrue. It's an absolute lie. They just keep saying it. They just keep saying it. In fact, here's a comparison between the new Georgia law and New York's current law. Okay, so this is how bad it is in Georgia for people to, especially minorities, to vote. Early voting in New York. They can early vote for 9 days. Listen to how restrictive Georgia is. They only allow 17 days. Let's not put it up there right just yet because you're kind of spoiling the surprise.
People might want to follow along. Okay.
So it's been expanded in the new law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could add even 2 more in some jurisdictions if you want. So you could have as much.
You could
as
have 19.
19 days. But Georgia's the one that limits opportunities to vote.
Absentee voting. Voters must be absent from their county of residence, ill, or physically disabled in New York. In Georgia law, you don't need an excuse.
You don't need an excuse to vote absentee.
And that has not changed. Absentee deadline, 7 days before election, according to New York. And it's changed from 4 days to 11 days in Georgia. Mm-hmm. So they got 4 more days than New York. Drop boxes. How much do we hear about the drop boxes? You made it so that they can't be everywhere, and you have to have them inside. There are no drop boxes in New York.
I'm sorry, what was that?
0. There's 0. Let me carry the one.
Okay.
Count very careful. Carrying the one right now. 0.
0 drop boxes.
None.
In the state of New York. Pretty
No
big
drop
state,
boxes.
too.
Pretty big state. Yeah. The Georgia law makes drop boxes permanent, but limits where and how many.
Oh, no.
Bastards.
Yeah.
And absentee verification. Signature matching in New York changed to ID verification in Georgia.
How could you be against photo ID?
I don't know.
I mean, seriously, unless you are planning on cheating.
And that's all they're trying to do is just make cheating at least harder, if not impossible. They're trying to ensure the legitimacy of the vote, and they're being hammered for it.
Yeah, one thing Georgia is also doing is they're no longer just sending out ballots to every possible voter. You have to request it. Oh my gosh!
What?
I'm sorry. There's less ballots out there to harvest, which is also something Texas is trying to do. So they're already getting crap as well.
The worst. This is the weirdest.
It's so bad.
Weirdest time I think we've ever seen, and it's getting worse every stinking week.
By the hour, Pat.
Yeah, absolutely. Barack Obama tweeted out, "Congratulations to MLB for taking a stand on behalf of voting rights for all citizens. There's no better way for America's pastime to honor the great Hank Aaron, who always led by example."
Oh, it'd be nice to honor Hank Aaron in Atlanta over the All-Star game.
Wouldn't it?
But,
yeah, where he played for some time, if I'm not mistaken.
You're not mistaken. You sure did.
Man,
baseball has rocked the conservative world this weekend. You know, Donald Trump calling for a boycott of the sport.
Certainly has.
Mm-hmm. I did not watch any baseball this weekend.
You didn't?
No, I'm pissed. I'm angry. Absolutely angry.
So you're not going to the Braves game?
Well, I'm not going to the Braves game.
For another reason.
Because the ticket both that with COVID.
But would you boycott it if you had? Really?
Oh, absolutely. I paid for MLB streaming, and I'm not turning it on. I'm not going to give them that satisfaction. Screw them. I'm angry. And this is different. This isn't the left is trying to say, oh, look at the right getting on board with cancel culture. We're not saying that the MLB shouldn't exist. We're saying that we're not good. If they're going to make an economic decision and try to have an economic impact on Georgia, then I, as a fan, am going to try to have an economic impact on them. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's not cancel culture.
This is like the bathroom situation. Remember that deal? Mm-hmm. And it was Georgia in that particular case, wasn't it?
North Carolina.
Okay, I thought it was one of those backward southern states.
Yeah.
Where they're just so hateful. Mm-hmm. So in the bathroom thing, North Carolina got this treatment for a while, and then it kind of ebbed and died out.
Well, the ACC pulled their tournament out of
anymore.
There.
Yeah. And so hopefully the same thing will happen here, but it's so bogus because there's nothing wrong with the new Georgia voting law.
If you were going to make business decisions, Rob Manfred, on this kind of stuff with bad information and lies, you're not a business worth supporting anyhow.
That is true.
You're run by idiots who are going to bend a knee to the mob on the left. No, thank you. Screw you.
It's amazing the power Twitter has. You know, you start seeing a few people whine about your establishment or talk about your business, and then all of a sudden everybody freaks out. Oh my gosh, they're not gonna. I mean, that's a tiny fraction, a small, infinitesimal part of your clientele, and that's who you're catering to, and that's who you're caving into. Just probably people who don't even frequent your business anyway. What do you want to bet? Anybody bitching about this Georgia law weren't going to go to the Major League All-Star game anyway.
That's just it. This isn't even your audience that they're bending to.
Right.
It's so pathetic on so many levels. It's frustrating. It is so. And apparently the players weren't even consulted on this. They did have a players, and because remember this thing started about a week ago with the MLBPA Players Association meeting with less than half of their members, and some voiced concern, and then before you knew it, it's pulled, man, in like a matter of just days.
Soon as Biden gave him the go-ahead, seems like that's
exactly. Now we have cover.
Now we're going to do it. Yep,
cover from the President of the United States.
Right.
Okay. Good luck. I mean, I hope you get some far left tree huggers who don't shower, but maybe once every month into your stadiums, and it's a good thing it's limited capacity at most of these stadiums, because I have a feeling I think this is going to have big repercussions for Major League Baseball.
I hope it does.
I do too.
Hope it does. All right, let me tell you about OmegaXL. If you're suffering with pain that's brought on by inflammation, this is really good news. This is backed by 35 years of clinical research. OmegaXL attacks inflammation. Basically, it has an off switch to it, so it turns it off, and thus the pain goes away. Fantastic. And it's not a drug. It's not something your body's going to be dependent on to feel normal. You're not going to get addicted to it. It's all natural, comes from the pristine waters of New Zealand. And it's a tiny little gel cap that's so easy to swallow. You're going to love this stuff. Doesn't give you that fishy aftertaste that some of these products do. And that's why I can take it, frankly, and why I did take it to relieve the inflammation in my elbow. And it worked great. When you order one bottle of OmegaXL right now, you'll get a second bottle for free. Go to OmegaXL.com/Pat. That's OmegaXL.com/Pat. Or call 800-844-4888.
Pat Gray, Unleashed.
I got some tweets here. Who's this first one? Quissets?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you need an ID to buy a beer at the game? And why do you need a ticket? Tickets are a form of ID. Huh. Interesting point. Also, it's interesting how a group of baseball owners who charge $6 for a bottle of Dasani are now concerned with free water. It's another good point. Yeah, when you buy stuff at the ballpark, yeah, you pay dearly for it, including bottled water.
You mean if I stand in this line at the stadium and I stand there and I stay there during the game?
They're not going to give you a bottle.
They're not going to give me free food and beverage?
No, they're not. No. When you get to the front of the line, you can buy something from them, though.
Wow.
At a very hefty price.
Thank you, oppression.
Right? I don't know why they don't want minorities to have food and drink at a baseball game. I don't know. I don't know why.
Yeah, what is that?
Racism. That's what it is.
That's all it could be. I don't know what else it could be. Yeah.
Xenophobia, homophobia,
something,
racism, transphobia. You name it, that's what it is. Also, Coca-Cola's annual meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Coca-Cola, of course, all over Major League Baseball to move the All-Star game. They require an ID to attend their stupid annual meeting. Okay. But you don't want anybody to have to show an ID at the polling place.
Yeah.
Okay.
I tell you, two of the corporations really pushing this, Delta and Coca-Cola, two Atlanta-based companies. I did not send this to you, Rob, over the weekend, but I found it ironic that there is a place in Truist Stadium, in Truist Field. I can't even think of the name park now. I'm so pissed. But anyway, there's a place where you can see Coca-Cola in Delta in the same shot inside the Brave Stadium there, Truist Park. And are you gonna pull the signs out of there? I mean, huh? You gonna do that, Delta and Coca-Cola, now that you've paid millions for those sponsorship placements?
Of course, you know the answer is no. They're not going to.
Oh,
they're not going to, because those probably cost them $5 million for the sign spot, right? At least.
Really?
Yeah.
Think that much?
I bet it is.
Okay.
To have a permanent, gigantic sign at the stadium like that?
Well, then you should request that the Braves put a big black drape over a curtain over your sponsorship until the law is changed. Mm-hmm. Where's your principal? Coke? Delta?
Boy, Coke has been, geez, I'd love to see their sales plummet.
I mean, what are they doing? I mean, first of all, we're not white enough.
Everything they can. They're doing everything they can to piss off
or we got to be, what was it?
Clientele.
We got to be less white, not white enough. We got to be less white.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And now it's like we don't want to ensure the integrity of the vote in this state. These companies are burying themselves.
You know what? Being able to vote should require a little effort on your part. It should require some effort. You should have to do something. You shouldn't have to just show up at the poll or on the day of when you haven't done squat up until that point, and now all of a sudden, yep, I'm ready to vote. I'm ready to do my duty as an American. Mm-hmm. No, you should have to register. You should have to bring your photo ID. You should have done some research. You should know what you're doing and where to do it.
No, I was told that this is where I show up for free Coke and barbecue.
Yeah, right.
And then I do what now? I go over here and who gave me this free food? That's who I'm voting for. That's all they're trying to get rid of. Oh my gosh. The fact that we're having discussion is madness in of itself.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And then just sending everybody a ballot. So you literally don't have to do anything except sit on your dead butt at home and put an X on a piece of paper they sent to you, and then you just send it back in.
Yeah, but in many cases...
Self-addressed stamped envelope, I'm sure.
Yeah, in many cases, it is someone sitting on their dead butt. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. There's so many dead people voting. So many of these ballots are out there that are just floating around, and groups are scooping them up.
Which is why they're trying to clean up the ballot rolls, too. Some people have moved. Some people have died. So you don't want any of those people to be on your rolls anymore. Well, yes, the Democrats do want them on the rolls. They're trying to use those people to get themselves power.
Yeah, I forgot where it was during the election in November. A nursing home had all these ballots delivered to them that the residents there never saw. And no offense, but probably half of them wouldn't even know what a ballot was if it was put in their laps. Okay? Mm-hmm. Somebody scooped them up, filled them out the way they wanted to, and hundreds of votes later, they were sent on.
Yeah.
I mean, can we not try to stop that? If someone in the nursing home wants to vote and has the wherewithal to request the ballot, they can do that.
Right. Yeah, right. It's madness. Really.
It's a madhouse!
Thank you. Yes.
A madhouse!
Right. It's worse, and it's worse than what Charlton Heston was going through. Seriously, if apes were running this place, you'd understand it at least. You'd be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I mean, it's apes. What do you expect? The apes took over. I mean, they're making bad decisions. That's what apes do.
Yeah.
You don't expect this of human beings with a little bit of common sense.
No.
Just a modicum. Or as Meghan McCain once said, what was it?
Emoticon.
An emoticon of common sense.
So let's use brain cells before we post things on the internet.
Right.
Thanks.
You're welcome, Puddin'. Happy to do that for you.
Oh, seriously. We don't need to be taken over by apes or aliens. We're doing it to ourselves.
Yeah. Yes, we are. Speaking of apes and aliens, Keith Olbermann is really happy about the All-Star Game decision. Mm-hmm. Now he wants a Masters boycott.
Confederate Georgia.
Oh, screw you.
Shut
boycott
up.
the Masters. Not only has Major League Baseball unexpectedly done exactly the right thing by moving its All-Star game out of Atlanta, but it has just as importantly opened the floodgates and put a target on the back of every major sports event, every major non-sports event, and every corporation doing business with Georgia. As an aside, when baseball announced this, thank goodness I was at a checkup in my cardiologist's office. The next big opportunity to do the right thing is Thursday, the Masters Golf Tournament. It's not likely they're going to move it out of Augusta, Georgia. The course was segregated there until 1990. The double meaning in a former slave state of Masters is also no coincidence. They will play that tournament, but that does not mean it has to count for anything, nor that it has to be shown on TV. The PGA Tour should declare that the Masters is not an official event and will not be recognized as a major tournament. And ESPN and CBS should not televise it, nor in Canada should the TSN network. Baseball acted quickly and decisively, and in so doing saved its celebration of Jackie Robinson Day on the 15th. The people behind the Masters don't give a damn about any of that, but the TV networks and the sponsors have to. It is against them that the pressure must build.
Did we just bleep the word damn?
I believe so. Go off over the heads of many different groups. Georgia lawmakers, Georgia corporations still trying to talk their way out of this, like Delta and Coke.
Thank you.
Atlanta-based corporations who have said almost nothing, like UPS, Home Depot, Arby's. Indeed, everybody opposed to the Georgia apartheid voting laws, everybody must realize now
they're Georgia apartheid laws now. Okay, I can't even.
The goal now is
economic war.
Economic war.
I can't take it.
Okay, I mean, you have decided that the arena we're going to have this fight in is going to be economic. Noted.
What part of this new bill could even, in your wildest nightmarish imagination, what part could qualify as apartheid?
I mean, if you're a black voter in Georgia,
dumbest rant I've ever heard.
They are using you for cover. They're saying that you're they're sticking up for you. No, they're not. They're sticking up for dishonesty and cheating at the ballot box.
And where are the Georgians here? Why isn't what's his face in Georgia all over this? Why isn't he on Fox or every stinking news agency that will have him?
Who's that?
He should be demanding, the Georgia's governor should be demanding that CNN put him on to respond to all of this BS.
Oh, screw that. Tell CNN to get out, because they're doing business in Atlanta too. Get out.
Yeah, why don't they? Yes.
Because, the Senate in Georgia, they tried to get the gasoline tax exemption revoked for Delta. But the House hasn't taken it up, so it'll probably go nowhere. There will be no repercussions for businesses there. I mean, Kemp has lashed out at MLB, but, I mean, you're right. I mean,
they need to be everywhere all the time. I mean, the voices of dissent are so loud, they're deafening, and they're drowning out anybody who's trying to say anything other than, MLB did the right thing. They should boycott Georgia. The Georgians, the officials in Georgia should be everywhere right now. Because this is absolute insanity. This law is a nothing burger as far as what they're trying to make out of it. It actually enhanced voting rights and the ease with which you can vote. It made it easier. It extended hours and days.
I mean, these laws are constantly happening around the country.
Yeah.
Okay. It just so happened that it happened in a year where they saw a weak spot in the All-Star game. It happened with a state in the same year that they have the biggest sporting event in baseball. And they thought, there's something we could do.
Here's our chance. Let's make this a massive federal case. They're good at it. They really are.
They're good at destroying America piece by piece. Congratulations, left.
Great at lying through their communist teeth, too. Just over and over and over. And it doesn't matter anybody who's yelling about the truth. They just keep repeating the lie. It really does work. 888-900-3393. Hope you had a great Easter Sunday. Great Easter weekend. Google ignored it, of course, as usual. They celebrate every obscure person who's ever been born and that you've never heard of. But Easter, we just ignore that.
Is that a big deal?
Yeah. No, what, Easter? It's just
not familiar.
Creepy Christians.
Wait a minute. Google did a celebration yesterday. You missed that. They did a Senegal Independence Day.
Oh.
Sunday, April 4th.
Good. It was Senegal?
Yeah, it was Senegal Independence Day. So.
Oh, good.
If you had surfed old Google from Senegal.
A lot of us, everybody celebrates Senegal's Independence Day. But, some of us didn't realize it was the 4th of April already. Because, we know it's on the 4th of April. I just wasn't thinking that was yesterday's date. Were you? Because I usually have my Independence Day tree up and ready to go by the, at least March 30th.
What would you say the colors of your Senegal Independence Day tree? What 3 main colors would you go with? If you were putting up and decorating and stuff, don't you dare Google. Because you know.
Of course I know. I know.
The Senegal 3 main colors, of course.
Are. They're, yellow.
Sure.
Obviously.
I'm
going to say green.
Yeah, you got it.
And red.
And red. Wow, you know everything.
I know everything about Senegal.
The irony is we both used Google to find out that information.
Yellow was just a guess.
Okay.
Actually, I hadn't been there. I hadn't gotten to my destination yet. So that was a pretty good guess, right?
Sure was. Good job. So we had the Senegal
I think green
Independence
was going to
Day.
be another one, too. Mm-hmm. Yellow and green. Because that seems to be popular on the African continent. I don't know why.
Does it?
Yeah, it does.
I want to look up flags of Africa.
Look up African flags to see how many have yellow and green in them.
Okay, let's just do a quick look-see here.
All right.
I will say, how can I make... I wish this stupid thing... Yeah.
Would you say it's fairly
I'd
prevalent?
say there's a lot of yellow going on there.
See? Lots of yellow. And considerable amount of green.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you nailed it.
Yep. All right. 888-900-3393. Got some tweets here at Pat Unleashed. AOC Disposal tweets, maybe robots have taken over. That would explain the mindless libs blindly following orders from the programmers. From Vern Lundquist. Of course, Olbermann filmed that from his penthouse overlooking Central Park.
That's a great point.
What a man of the people. Yep. From Skippy. Those hateful hate mongers of hate in the MLB also throw out those who sneak into their ballparks. Those fans had a dream, sir. A dream to watch baseball.
Yeah, why are they kicking people out?
Why? Yeah. Why? Why would you do that? You just let everybody in. Why do you have fences around your ballpark?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. How come there's a wall around your ballpark? Somebody actually did a little bit of reporting on the border this weekend. It was CBS, right? Who actually showed us, they exhibited some...
And now, scattered showers of journalism.
We saw some scattered showers of journalism.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while.
Yeah, and all we're asking for are facts. Deliver us some facts, and that equals a scattered shower of journalism.
And here are some facts from CBS.
Tonight, a shocking number from the crisis at the southern border. CBS News has learned 150,000 migrants were likely apprehended in March. That's 50% more than in February. Among those allowed to stay, hundreds have been dumped in a small desert town in Arizona, hours from the nearest shelter. CBS's Lilia Luciano follows their journey.
Okay.
In the tiny town of Ajo, in the middle of the Arizona desert, Border Patrol comes by every day and drops off dozens of asylum seekers after they've been processed. They're left to find their way.
This isn't a local decision.
Aaron Cooper says the town doesn't have the resources needed. So the county has to drive asylum seekers 2.5 hours to the nearest shelter in Tucson.
So when we went from one drop a day to oftentimes 2 drops a day, very quickly we had volunteer burnout. And it turned from I'm willing to come and pitch in for a few hours to this is a full-time job.
The volunteers also give them food and a COVID test.
Pause it for a second.
In the last week,
think about that. They're taking them 2.5 hours one way and then 2.5 hours back. Okay, that's 5 hours. Then you're doing it again? So you're doing 10 hours just driving back and forth, picking up illegal aliens and bringing them to Tucson. Who wants to do that? I'm not doing that. Guess I'm a bad person.
You're a bad person.
I would not volunteer for that gig.
Well, and they got volunteer burnout.
Yes, you can kind of see why.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see the rest of this.
in the last week and a half, nearly 300 asylum seekers have arrived in this town of about 4,000.
Were you guys even ready for this?
This is not the first time we've had to come together as a community to solve a unique problem that hit suddenly.
Nice spin. Yeah. So 300 out of 4,000 people in the town.
That's almost a tenth of the population.
Yeah, I'm not doing that math. Yeah, that's like 7.5%, right? Did I nail it?
Yeah, it's almost a tenth of the population in a little short time here in the last month.
But what have we said about the media and getting frozen out on this specific issue?
They're going to start turning on you because they are frozen out. Yeah, so now they're actually doing stories around you.
Yep.
Okay, you're not going to give us the access. You know what we'll do? We'll go down to the border. We'll find the stories ourselves because we're going to do the story. All right, we would have done it your way if you would have let us, but now we're just going to do it.
But we didn't play the whole thing, obviously. But you know the thing about this report in particular is it was more the plight of the town.
Yeah.
And the fact that the town is got and we've got the we had over the weekend they were chasing a smuggler through the town where Glenn had the mayor on, and we've played the mayor, the liberal guy down there on the border who's like, "Yo, Biden, what's up? Stop dumping them in our town."
Right.
And so when you start, that's the thing about that CBS News report. It wasn't just the fact that they were reporting facts from the border, but the empathy was for the town.
Yes. Because the town, obviously, a town of 4,000, you increase their population by 10% of people who just are completely dependent on you. They can't handle that.
Right.
They can't handle that.
And if you don't want to give us access, then we're going to show America how bad it really is for not only the immigrants, but the towns along the border as well.
And that's pretty darn bad. You can't increase somebody's population by 10% in a month with people who are completely impoverished. They've got nothing, zero with them. They expect jobs. They expect a shelter. They expect food. You got to completely take care of them now. Good luck in your little community. Are you prepared for that? By the way, it wasn't 150,000. The number is actually 171,000 illegals that have been caught in March alone. 171,000 caught. Now, the Border Patrol statistics for that used to be, it was about a 3 or 5 to 1 ratio. They catch about 1 in 3 or 1 in 5. So anything that you see that's based on the numbers of illegals that were caught, about 3 times that number usually made it through to the United States of America and are now residing here somewhere. So that's really good news.
Yeah, but then they're going to show up for their court date, and then due process will take over, and they'll either go back home or go through the proper way.
Yeah, everything will be fine. Don't even worry about it.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. Many of them, by the way, don't even have a court date anymore. You just gave up on that. Yeah, don't give them a court date. They're not coming back for it anyway. Okay.
How do you teach your children about our form of government and our system? With a straight face.
Honestly, I don't know anymore, and I'm glad I don't have to do it now. I'm glad we've already been down that road and done that because it's becoming more and more impossible.
Seriously, the Constitution, it's an ancient screed at this point. It's not. Yeah. You're not teaching your kids our form of government. You're saying this is how it should be.
Yeah, this is how it once was.
Yeah, it used to
not
be
like this anymore.
So anyway, you can go play now. I'm not going to waste your time anymore. That's today's lesson.
All right, let me tell you about ExpressVPN. Maybe you supported Donald Trump, and now they're coming for you. The left will continue their campaign of censorship, of repression, and cancel culture until the very last voice of opposition has been crushed. They're backed by the media, of course. Some of the largest companies in the world, like Coke, Delta, Big Tech, and the far left have formed this unholy alliance to track and censor and spy on you. There's never been a more important time to protect your internet activity from bad actors. That's why I'm urging you to get ExpressVPN. We're so far beyond the days when you can say, I don't care if they're monitoring me. I'm not doing anything wrong. Let them watch me. They'll be bored to tears. Yeah, you're not the one that decides if you're doing anything wrong. And we've seen that a million times lately, haven't we? Everything you search for, watch, or click online can be tracked by big tech. Not only can it be, it is being tracked. And your information's being kept, in many cases sold as well. So when I switch on ExpressVPN with my computer or my phone, my IP address is masked by a secure VPN server, which makes it harder for websites to identify me. The ExpressVPN app also encrypts my network data to protect my sensitive information from being compromised, like any of your banking information. So, stop handing over your data to big tech companies and their far-left enablers in the government. Defend your rights with the VPN I trust for online protection. ExpressVPN.com/unleashed. Express, that's ExpressVPN.com/unleashed and get 3 free extra months. Go to ExpressVPN.com/unleashed right now.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Here's a fun little statistic for you, just to kind of put an exclamation point on the border discussion.
Oh, what you got?
The COVID-19 positivity rate, the migrants being tested at the border, 9% of them are being tested with COVID.
Positive, okay.
Mm-hmm. San Diego residents, 2.5%. So,
wow, and they're bringing a lot of them there, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So that's good, right?
Yeah, and then of course, which group is getting in-person learning?
The people who are here illegally,
because it's too dangerous to let your kids
go
to school,
and
learn in person when the positivity rate of the county is 2.5%.
Right. But hey, COVID's not a problem for us because we've got the Well Health Safety Seal now.
Oh, really? What do you mean?
Yeah, you can enter our studio with confidence that you're going to be perfectly fine. Do you see that?
So that Rob was hanging up something during the break.
Yeah, it was our brand new Well Health Safety Seal.
It finally came in the mail.
It did.
Oh, I'll have to get a picture of that.
So yeah, take a picture of that, and we'll show it on Twitter later.
All right.
We have look for the Well Health Safety Seal, the Well Health Safety Seal, the Well Health Safety Seal of Health.
I like that.
Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, that was just off the top of his head. Like, imagine what he could have done with 5 minutes of prep time on that song.
Right.
Does that mean the United Nations basically has jurisdiction over this room now?
Yes.
Screw that.
Yeah.
No. Can we give it back? Can we rescind that now?
No, that's a source of pride for us from now on.
Source of pride?
Source of pride. We got the Well Health Safety.
I gotta see this thing
without paying the $4,700 or whatever it was to the UN.
Oh.
So actually, the UN's probably not in our business since they don't know we have the Well Health Safety Seal.
Yeah, we used a coupon code at checkout at the wellhealthsafetyseal.org.
Yeah, we did. And we used ExpressVPN so they couldn't track us. So they don't know that we have it. They don't know.
So y'all can feel confident entering this room.
Yes, you can.
It's clean and well, I mean, not on Wednesdays and Fridays. But,
right, well, because Jeffy's in here, obviously. So, yeah. Okay. Let me share something really fun with you, really good with you. Every once in a while, Charles Barkley says something fantastic. And this is one of those cases where he finally speaks the truth here about this race situation.
Shared that news, how painful it was. Yeah, but the one thing I took out of that piece was, man, I think most white people and black people are great people.
Thank you.
I really believe that in my heart. But
Nice.
I think our system is set up where our politicians, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, are designed to make us not like each other so they can keep their grasp of money and power. They divide and conquer. I truly believe in my heart most white people and black people are awesome people. But we're so stupid following our politicians, whether they are Republicans or Democrats. And their only job is, hey, let's make these people not like each other. We don't live in their neighborhoods. We're all got money. Let's make the whites and blacks not like each other. Let's make rich people and poor people not like each other. Let's scramble the middle class. I truly believe that in my heart.
And he's exactly right. That's exactly what's happening right now. I don't know about the Republicans part. It's mostly Democrats who play that game, let's face it. But he has to say that, I think he feels, because he's got a lot of Democrats watching him right now. So he can't just say, yeah, the Democrat politicians are just dividing us. But how about that? That's hard to do when everybody around you is just spewing the party line. Your segments are all about the party line. Every one of the players in the NBA, not everyone, but most of the players in the NBA are spewing the party line. Everybody's doing the dividing. And then Charles Barkley says, wait a minute, come on now. I know a lot of white people and black people. They're good people. They don't want any of this. They're not racist. They're not white supremacists. Appreciate that. I like that. Thank you, Charles. We got to share what Reverend Raphael Warnock had to say in his Easter greeting yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, he's a reverend, so you know it must have been a really powerful Easter message.
Oh, this would be good.
Yeah, and not only is he a U.S. Senator, but he's a reverend U.S. Senator, and so we'll share his powerful message of hope coming up here in just a few minutes. Some tweets here. Timothy Condor tweets, do you think the DNC is focused on Georgia because that's where they're able to take ground? What happened to all those community organizers since the Senate vote?
Yeah, they thought that they had Georgia in the bag, right? And they probably moved on to other states.
Yep.
Now, like, oh, crap, we have to go back to Georgia now?
Stranded Alien tweets, let me understand this. Some Democratic states change voting laws by fiat, and some are even in violation with their constitution. That equals the most honest election ever. Georgia actually uses legislation, and it equals the end of democracy.
Yeah.
Jimmy Dimples, Google ignored Easter? I wasn't aware I ignored Google. Yeah, it's good. Comrade Snoobage tweets, it feels good to know that with the Well Health Safety Seal of Approval, Pat is good for my health.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we earned that.
Yeah,
Hey, look at that. There it is.
There it is. See
it's on the door now.
Right there. on the door. Placed there with duct tape so you know it's official. It's official. All right. Another tweet here from the Reverend Raphael Warnock, a little Easter message for us. The meaning of Easter, the good Reverend writes, the meaning of Easter is more transcendent than the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Whether you're a Christian or not, through a commitment to helping others, we're able to save ourselves.
Oh.
Wait. What? What kind of reverend is this guy? What is he a reverend of?
That is black liberation theology.
Wow. That's crazy that it's the opposite of Easter. That he saved us. That Jesus saves us through his atonement and resurrection. And then he writes that as we help others, which we should be doing, right? But that's not how we save ourselves. We can't save ourselves. I don't know if he's trying to say that works are good, which I also believe, but we're saved by grace after all we can do, is my belief on that. But he seems to be thinking we're our own salvation?
Well, that's black liberation theology, is it not? I mean, that's what Obama said. What did he say? What's the quote from Obama?
Oh, yeah. It's something like, I can't save myself unless I save others, or I'm... I'm
going to find it.
He tied it into collective.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, my individual, and I'm going to click on this, and it better take me to it. I'm going to do Control F here. Hang on.
My individual...
my individual fate. Oh, pop-up ad. Thank you.
Okay.
Pop-up. Okay. My individual fate had to be tied to something larger than myself, that my individual salvation would only come from collective salvation of some sort.
There we go.
End quote.
I knew a collective was in there somewhere. And you notice that Jesus isn't even mentioned in that one either.
Good point.
That's interesting. I mean, what a nightmare. What a nightmare these people are. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. By the way, did you see that Russia has stepped up their aggressiveness? Our military is a tad concerned about their actions in the Arctic Circle right now. They're apparently getting quite aggressive there. I wonder why. I mean, it couldn't be that they see that we have a president who's unfit for the job intellectually, right? It can't be that. It can't be that they see that we're completely lacking leadership right now, and this might be a really good time to get aggressive. I'm sure that.
Wait a minute.
That doesn't have anything to do with it.
And you're talking about the Arctic Circle.
Yes.
You're not talking about over the weekend Russia moving those missiles close to the Ukraine border.
And then there's that as well.
But again, the timing coincidental, of course.
Yes, I'm sure it's got nothing to do with the fact that our president is gone mentally. They wouldn't take advantage of that. That would be mean and nasty and very Soviet Union like. So I'm sure that's nothing. I'm sure that's not even figuring into their equation. The Chinese have been a little nasty to us lately as well, and I'll bet that doesn't have anything to do with it either.
No. Why are you even saying that? Feels like you're suggesting something I don't care for.
Does it sound like I'm suggesting that maybe they are? Maybe the opposite of what I'm actually saying is true.
And it may not just be the weakness that we're now showing with Joe Biden as the president, but could it be also his connections to those countries where they feel they have a little more leverage?
Sure could, yeah. Huh, sure could.
Help us.
Well, we're on the topic of Obama, though. Activists are protesting in Chicago, a Chicago school, because they want to change the name of the school to Barack Obama High School. And they don't want that because, of course, Barack Obama is and was an oppressor. Immigration activists are objecting to the name.
I see.
Edgar Castellanos says, I will not be part of renaming a school after someone who did not and does not represent the undocumented community.
I love it. I love it. This is great.
My gosh.
The left canceling Obama now.
I love it when the left eats their own. When liberals eat their own, it's just good eating.
That's entertainment.
Waukegan's Board of Education met Tuesday evening to debate renaming Thomas Jefferson Middle School and Daniel Webster Middle School, because those are evil people, obviously, after it was decided the historical figures either owned slaves or supported slavery or heard about slavery. Yeah, if you've heard about it, too, then you're also, you're not worthy to... I mean, Abraham Lincoln, he's having his name removed from schools. So one of the top contenders for Thomas Jefferson Middle School's new name is that of Barack Obama, the first black president, former First Lady Michelle. But that name is drawing the ire of immigration activists and some in the Latino community. Good. Let's let them all battle this out. That's great.
Keep them distracted with each other.
Right? And then pretty soon you just won't have any name. Just call it just school number 6 or whatever, like they do in New York.
Like PS 214 or
Public
whatever.
School 214. Does that offend anybody?
Whenever I hear that, like, oh, you went to PS 212 as well? You're watching an interview or something. You're just like, wow, that's Woo, that's Soviet.
Yep.
But that's what we're at.
That's where we are.
You can't name anything. But Daniel Webster was against slavery. What the hell? I mean, everybody. It's because he's white.
I told you, but Daniel Webster had heard of slavery.
Yeah, I had heard of it.
So he's got to go.
Right.
He's got to go.
But wait a minute. Everybody's heard of slavery. And now we're back to PS 212.
We all have to go. We feel that Barack Obama did disservice to us. He denied us, and he didn't stop deportations the way he promised. From the time Barack Obama became president until 2017 when he left, he today is still the highest-ranking president with deportations in our nation. That bastard. How could he dare deport people who weren't supposed to be here in the first place?
Not Marxist
How
enough.
dare you? If you're renaming the name of Thomas Jefferson one oppressor, the name of Obama is another oppressor, and our families do not want to see that name. This is so great. How great is this?
I love it.
Did you ever think you'd see the day where the left is objecting to the name of Barack Obama to go on a school in...
Not radical enough.
In Chicago, Illinois, his adopted hometown?
That is fascinating.
Crazy.
Yeah. That shows who you're dealing with.
Yeah, it does.
These are the same people that are...
There's no pleasing them.
Getting the All-Star game moved out of Atlanta. You can't negotiate with terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what they are. They're social terrorists. Ooh, write that down.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. I like it.
Yeah, okay. Doesn't really sound like it.
888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. We do have some fun things though for you today. We've had a couple of really good feel-good moments. There was the Charles Barkley moment. There's also a Polish pastor moment where he is very upset that police have come into his church and were hassling people who didn't have masks on. He took exception to that. And
is this the Calgary one?
Yeah, the one in Calgary. He's from Poland though originally, and you can hear the Polish accent. He doesn't sound like he's from Canada, but he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Please get out. Get out of this property immediately. Get out. Get out of this property immediately. Out. I don't want to hear anything. Out of this property immediately. I don't want to hear a word. Out. Out. Out of this property immediately until you come back with a warrant. Out. 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 Out of this property. Immediately out. Immediately go out and don't come back. I don't want to talk to you. Not a word. Out of this out of this property. Immediately out. I don't care what you have to say. Out. Out. Out of
Pause
this
it for a
property.
Sec. Does it really take, what are there, 6 cops there? 6 cops who are spending their time at this church looking into people without masks. Really? Is this the best way to spend their time, their day in Calgary?
There better be no other crime going on in that town at that moment.
Well, it must have been a peaceful day where they could devote that many resources to people without masks in a church. That is amazing. All right, let's see if he gets them out of there once and for all.
Out! Out! Gestapo is not allowed here. Immediately, Gestapo is not allowed. Out! Do you understand English? Get out of this property. Go. So go. Go. And don't come back without a warrant.
I love
out,
it.
Nazi. Out. Out. You understand?
Wow.
Nazis are not welcome here.
That's
Out.
how it's done.
And don't come back without a warrant. Do not come back without a warrant. You understand that? You're not welcome here. Nazis are not welcome here. Gestapo is not welcome here. Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.
I love it. I love it.
Unbelievable, sick, evil people. Intimidating people in a church during the Passover. You Gestapo, Nazi, communist, fascist.
Yeah.
Okay,
Don't
so
you
they're
dare coming back here.
Gestapo, Nazi, communist, fascists.
Imagine those psychopaths.
He's right.
Passover, the holiest Christian festival in a year, and they're coming to intimidate Christians during the holiest festival? Unbelievable. What is wrong with those sick psychopaths? It's beyond me.
I love it. I love it. I mean, that's how you engage. I mean, he taught us how to push back. You don't.
He pushed back pretty hard.
Yeah, you don't have a conversation. You don't try to convince them of your rights.
Right.
You just shout them down until they leave, make it uncomfortable.
Don't come back unless you have a warrant.
Yeah.
Assuming they have the same sort of due process as we do. That's the great way to go.
We do.
It's a great way to go, or that we once did.
Remember the history lesson we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
Oh, but that's how. I mean, seriously, that's what
he
you
wouldn't
do.
even entertain what they were trying to say to him. Wouldn't listen to it. And I don't blame him if they're hassling his people who are in there without a mask. I mean, seriously, don't you have something better to do on this Easter Sunday than that? Come in here and hassle parishioners on Easter Sunday because they don't have a mask on. Over the weekend, I read an article about, and this wasn't from a conservative source either, but they said mask wearing should end by Memorial Day. If this current trend continues, then they'll have virtually no choice but to finally say it. And we do have this. We do have this chart that shows.
Oh yeah, Texas, right?
Texas numbers are dropping like crazy.
Plummeting.
The current hospitalizations per million are way down.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that. So,
and they've continued to plummet even after the mask mandate was lifted.
And I'd like to point out they were plummeting well before the mask mandate was lifted.
Yes.
I mean, they're down 37% since it was lifted, down so much more, even if you go back even further.
Maybe like 70%?
Yeah, it looks like about 70%. But look at the other. When the mask mandate starts on July 2nd, look, the numbers went up. If you even go back to that other hump there on the chart.
Right.
The mask,
right.
This mask.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. That's horrifying. What kind of freak would insist on wearing masks when the numbers show otherwise?
That would be a fascist,
That's
communist,
horrifying.
Gestapo.
The 12-year-old boy children needn't wear a mask. At Neverland.
Wait, why not?
They can come over without a mask anytime they want.
Really? What about their parents that are dropping them off there?
Their parents have to stay out. They're too old. Too old.
Oh. Oh.
All right, 888.
Yeah.
933-93. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up. I love this. As hate crimes against the AAPI community continue to rise. AAPI is American Asian People.
Pacific Islanders.
Pacific Islanders, yes. Yes, Asian American Pacific Islanders. As the crimes against them continue to rise. Margaret Cho says she's fearful to walk the streets. She says, I'm scared to go out. As an older Asian woman, it's hard out there for people like me. It's really scary. The 52-year-old actress and comedian told drag queens Monet Exchange and Lady Bunny on their Ebony and Irony podcast, which aired on Friday. I never miss an episode of Monet Exchange and Lady Bunny. Good stuff.
Well, tell us, sell us on the podcast if we've never checked it out.
Well, for instance, they interview famous people like Margaret Cho, and get interesting comments out of them. Like Margaret Cho said, even though there are instances, even though there are instances of black on Asian violence, which according to the videos is about all I've seen when it comes to violence, actual violence against Asians. I haven't seen a lot of white people attacking Asians. Have you seen any?
No. I've like you said, like the black on Asian, I have.
But she says even though there are instances of black on Asian violence, it's still because of white supremacy.
Oh.
What?
Please.
Okay. Again, when every single thing proves your point, including the opposite of what your point actually is, the argument's pretty tough to win for the other side. This is great that the left has both sides of every argument.
Yeah.
Climate change, both hot and cold, mean the same thing.
Oh.
Climate change. Racism. Even when blacks are guilty, it's still whitey's fault. Wow. Really?
This is why it's impossible for the right to have a conversation with the left.
Yes. Because this is the kind of nonsense you get.
There is no, never mind intellectual honesty. There's no honesty, period. Ugh.
Margaret Cho says, we're put together from this idea of the myth of the model minority, and that statement is such a damaging one to be a model minority because it makes it seem like other minorities are not the model. What?
Again.
She added, it pits us against each other as if our only value is our relationship to the white patriarchy. Okay, so we're pitting, apparently knowingly, we're pitting blacks against Asians, I guess, and it's our fault because we're the ones who've done it. Show us you can be the model minority. We'll give you a little pat on the head. Seems to be I guess that's the theory here.
They're using their racism against whites.
Yes.
To make it seem like whites are the racists against everyone.
The fact is, let's not even try to analyze this. Let's just call it what it is. Margaret Cho is a racist.
Right.
She's a racist.
They're speaking a different language
just
on that side of the aisle.
So sick and tired of it. It's perfectly acceptable racism, too. They pay no penalty for this. Anybody who is spewing all this white supremacist stuff and all this white hatred nonsense, they're paying no penalty for that.
I mean, have I talked about on the air? There's a guy in this business who has an incredible resume, who is a writer who, I don't want to say too much, but he has been told point blank that, man, I'm sorry. I mean, you're a straight white dude. I mean, you get a job in this business despite the accolades that you have and the great people behind you that will vouch for you. You know, and people have tried to convince him to just say you're non-binary, say you're gay, do something. Because you being a straight white male, despite the fact that your resume is pristine and your accomplishments are above anyone else applying, sorry, dude. It's sickening.
It's a tough time. Yeah. Also, something that's not getting any play on CNN, the driver who killed a U.S. Capitol cop before he was gunned down himself by police, Nation of Islam devotee from Indiana. Name is Noah Green, 25 years old, may have been living in Virginia, described himself as a follower of Farrakhan on his Facebook page. And for some reason, he drove into two Capitol Police officers and killed one of them. And then when he got out of the vehicle and attacked them, they shot and killed him. That's getting absolutely no notice in the mainstream media. Nobody cares. But,
is he a white supremacist?
Yeah, white supremacist.
This guy right here is there he is up there. Okay, good.
Yep, that's him.
Huh. And the fact that he is black is why he is not
Nobody's talking about
on
it.
CNN.
Now, the last Capitol Police officer that was killed, people did make something out of that. They're still talking about it. It happened on January 6th, and they're still talking about it, even though it turned out he wasn't killed by anybody in the mob. Even though it turns out his family says he had a stroke and he wasn't bludgeoned with anything. They're still talking about it. But this, when a Nation of Islam member drives over a police officer on purpose and kills him, we're not interested in that. That doesn't fit the narrative, so we're not even going to talk about it.
I mean, seriously, it's not just some random black dude. It's a black dude who follows Louis Farrakhan,
right?
One of the biggest black racists in his last 50 years. There's your story. There's your narrative.
And you talk about rhetoric that inspires people to do bad things?
Thank you.
I mean, if you're going to blame anybody for incendiary rhetoric, there's your guy, Louis Farrakhan. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Much more coming up. I'll tell you another thing that's uniting, and that's Kexi cookies. They're delicious and uniting. Seriously, they could unite the left and the right if the left would ever buy them.
That's a good thought.
Yeah. Delicious. You could check them out for yourself at Kexi.com if you want. Got some tweets here. Mother Fessler tweets, did you know in Pennsylvania you need an ID to make returns Lowe's if you don't have your receipt, but you don't need an ID to vote.
So an ID to make a return.
So you do need an ID to make a return at Lowe's, but you don't need one to vote.
Wow.
It's as it should be, right? Because the return at Lowe's is far more important.
Sure is.
Than whatever vote you're going to place.
And I don't want store credit either.
Right.
Give me my cash.
I want cash back. Theory of Jeffetivity. Does the Well Health Safety Seal get replaced with a biohazard sign when Jeffy's in studio? Probably should. From Where's My Pudding? They seem to need a collective to come up with a single dishonest thought. Yeah, the collective salvation thing from the Warlock or whatever the guy's.
Warlock, yes.
Senator Warlock.
Senator Warlock, yeah, I like it.
Big Poppy tweets, that Polish pastor is the epitome of righteous indignation. Love him. Yep.
Get out.
Also, Pew Pew One Pew, does the Nation of Islam have ties to Trump? That might be the only way to get CNN to report on it.
I like it.
Tyler's surging gut check stops. If you noticed, the media was really quick to pivot the narratives for the guy crashing into the Capitol barriers and the Boulder gunman to mental health problems.
Yes.
Isn't that the truth?
If it's not a white dude,
it's a mental health problem.
That's when we do the mental health thing.
And a gun problem. We just pivot to, oh my gosh, it's time to get rid of the guns to stop all of this madness. They're so predictable, though.
Yep.
So predictable. 888-900-3393. Earlier, we were showing you the difference between the new Georgia law that just almost takes away every minority's right to vote. It just stifles every single one of them. Makes them illegal citizens, really. Of course, it does nothing of the kind. And we compared their laws to New York. And Georgia was far easier to vote than New York. There's also a comparison to some of the other states. For instance, Senate Bill 202 makes substantial changes to elections in Georgia. No excuse absentee voting. Voters can cast ballots without offering an excuse in 2/3 of the states, including Georgia. An excuse is required in 1/3 of the states, including New York. Georgia lawmakers considered eliminating no excuse absentee voting this year, but ultimately did not. Okay, a deadline to request an absentee ballot. 22 states allow voters to apply for absentee ballots less than 7 days before an election. 13 states set the application deadline 7 days before the election. Georgia becomes one of 11 states that set the application deadline more than 7 days before the election. Georgia voters must request ballots at least 11 days in advance. Previously, most counties allowed voters to request ballots up until the Friday before the election. So they lengthened that period. If you want a ballot, you got to request it 11 days in advance. How horrifying. How horrifying.
If you can't decide if you want to participate in an election
11 days before?
11 days out, then,
yeah.
you know.
Sorry.
Seriously. So what this is saying is that there are many more states that are more restrictive
than Georgia.
But it was just an opportunity. It was an opportune time to do it, and they had the MLB All-Star Game as the card they could play.
Verifying absentee ballots. To verify the identity of voters, 30 states matched their signatures on absentee ballots with signatures already on file. 30 states do that. 6 other states require signatures but don't verify. 8 states require a voter's signature, plus the signature of a witness. My gosh. Oh, my God. Are there any sporting events being held in any of those states?
Exactly the point.
3 states require ballot envelopes to be notarized. Notarized!
I'm going to find out what states.
2 states require voters to submit a copy of some sort of identification. Under SB 202, Georgia will become one of the 4 states that require voters to submit a driver's license number. So you just have to put your driver's license number on the application.
What?
That is ridiculous. That's a big deal? Look on the driver's license and then write down those numbers. It's not that hard. Well, except for, I guess, blacks and Hispanics don't have driver's licenses.
Well, they don't have internet access either.
Right, or internet access. That's true, too. Yeah. Do they have mailboxes?
Again, I don't know. I can't verify that on the fly.
Georgia authorized, drop boxes now. All states allow voters to return absentee ballots by mail. Almost all states allow them to drop off ballots at local election offices. 11 states, including Georgia, allow voters to return ballots to other locations. This was one of the big deals. They limited the number of drop box locations. You can't do the drop box anymore. Yeah, you can. There's a few less of them. Big deal. So Georgia allows voters to return ballots to other locations, such as early voting sites. States typically set minimum requirements for the location, number of hours, and security of drop boxes. Georgia authorized drop boxes for the first time on an emergency basis, and now they've done it permanently.
Yeah, I mean, this is the pandemic residuals we've been harping about for a year, saying there are going to be so many unintended consequences and some intended consequences from this pandemic bullcrap, and some of it right here. By the way, side note, one of the cities mentioned as a possible replacement for Atlanta is Milwaukee, since Hank Aaron played there before the Braves moved to Atlanta. Boy, I can't wait for that day. Make that announcement, please, because Wisconsin is one of those states where when you sign it, you better have a witness, so help me. And if you show up at the poll, you better have a driver's license or a photo ID. So bring it on. Move the All-Star game to Wisconsin. We're ready for you.
They won't make a peep about it.
We will.
Yeah, but nobody will listen. Window for early in-person voting. Early in-person voting is available in 43 states, including states with all mail elections. That's all like mail, not M-A-L-E, M-A-I-L.
Yeah, might have a better outcome.
Oh, I know.
What's that?
That's true.
What was that, Keith?
We would for sure have a better outcome. There's no question. Did you see the difference in approval rating between women and men with Biden? It's a humongous gap. Women approve of him far more than men.
They feel sorry for the old man. He needs a nurse.
Yeah, I guess. 24 states, including Georgia, allow some weekend voting. Early voting periods range in length from 4 days to 45 days. The average is 19. SB 202 in Georgia would have a minimum of 17 days of early voting, with 2 additional Sunday voting days for counties that want them, for a maximum of 19 days. Again, New York has 7 days early voting. 7.
Move the All-Star game to New York City. Go to Yankee Stadium.
We got a great argument if they go there.
Yeah,
too.
we're just waiting. We're just waiting, MLB. Pick a state. Pick any state.
Now, here's the big one. Okay, this is the one. Food and drink for voters in line. Okay? Can you have food and drink? Do you offer a 7-course meal while I'm waiting in line? Do you have steak and lobster? Okay. You have surf and turf, I hope?
Well, if they do, can I get one of those bibs? Because I don't want to get messy. It's vote day.
Well, they better provide a bib.
Okay.
I mean, we're talking about voting. Obviously, you need to be fed well and your clothing protected while you eat.
Thank you.
In line to vote. All states limit campaigning near polling places. All of them. Why? That's a constitutional issue. That's why. Regulating behavior such as distributing campaign literature and wearing campaign apparel. SB 202 goes further, prohibiting anyone from distributing food and drink to voters waiting in line. It allows poll workers to make self-service water available, though, but doesn't require it. So you can, if you're a poll worker, give people water in line. If somebody is actually dying of thirst while waiting to vote, you can give them a drink of water.
Think back through your life.
Save their life.
What are some buildings you have gone to vote in? Schools?
Schools? Mm-hmm. County buildings?
Churches? Right?
City halls?
All these places have water in them, or water fountains, or some sort of a water cooler with cups. Do we even need a poll worker to be involved, which they can be if that's necessary? But what about the guy behind you in line? Is he going to say, no, you can't come back and get back in line where you were? Seriously?
Also, how difficult is it just to bring a bottle of water if it's that big a deal to you? Bring with you a bottle of water! You might have noticed, bottled water is a thing now. And it's been a thing for a while. You can actually bring it with you when you go someplace. So...
Wait, what now?
Yeah, you could, like, we have a little fridge where we keep bottled water.
Okay, walk us through this.
And sometimes I'll just open the door and grab a bottle. And if I know I'm going to be someplace for a while and I'm going to get thirsty, I'll bring that bottle of water with me to the place I'm going.
So it's almost like so you carry it with you.
Yeah, I carry it with me. I put it in a little cup holder in my car while I'm driving. But then when I get to the destination, I pick it up out of the cup holder and bring it with me.
Yeah, but
You can't do that?
First of all, obviously you're an elitist if you have access to bottled water. But then
it's crazy.
Let's noodle this out. You just took it out of the fridge. And by the time you get to the polling place, there's probably going to be all this condensation. It's going to be nasty, you know. You don't want your hands getting all wet, and then you're
a little bit warmer too.
Right, it's going to be warmer.
And I like really cold water.
And so you're going to be standing in line with this wet water bottle that's been sweating in your car, and now it's in your hands, and it's gross, man. I want it fresh. I want it right there at the polling place.
With no condensation on it, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, you know, the poll workers can give you some, so...
It says can. It says
they can. They don't have to.
So what if they don't want to?
But then they don't. Then they probably won't.
Well, then that's suppression.
And then you just die in line. You just die.
Again, you can't
they don't
say,
care.
"Hey, I'm going to go grab a drink of water. Can you please hold my spot?"
Yeah, you could, but who does that?
I mean, that's called communication.
Yeah, you could do that, but who does?
Right.
I mean, what human being would communicate with someone else that they don't know in a line waiting to vote? You couldn't do that. Nobody's going to. So
I mean, you think about how divided we are on politics. And newsflash, we are. That's the one place where you're standing in line where people are just talking and just, you know, shooting the breeze, and
yeah,
you know, no one's saying, so you're going to vote for Biden or Trump?
No, nobody says that.
No, they're like...
That's never happened in line.
They're like, man, it's been beautiful weather here. Yeah, it's a little hot, though, for early November. Yeah. And then the next thing you know, you realize, oh, my gosh, I'm in line talking with the neighborhood gadfly, Pat Gray from The Blaze, because all he does is blah, blah, blah when he's out in public.
Right. We should shut up for a minute. That's what they're thinking.
And by the way, Pat... Your water bottle sure is wet there in your hand. What's that all about?
I brought it from home, so it's condensation a little bit.
Yeah, that's annoying, right?
It is a little bit, but I'm living through it.
Yeah,
I'm just dealing with it right now.
And I know how you're gonna vote. Okay.
Do you?
Yeah, just because I listen to you on the radio.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna let you get back in line if you go and get a
Wow, really?
Water. Yeah, if you go to the water
I don't
fountain.
need to leave line because I got my own bottle with me.
You planned ahead.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So, apparently, similar laws are in place in other states. Montana prohibits candidates and campaigns from distributing food and drink within 100 feet of a polling place. I think Georgia extended it 50 further feet, didn't they? It's like 150 feet of the line.
I don't know math very well, but I think that... Does that encircle like my house, the grocery store, my place of business?
No, 150 feet. Like that's it. You're in line in Georgia. that would stretch all the way to Texas.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, this law sucks.
So you have
they
to
don't want anybody drinking.
You have to walk a long way off that line before you can get some water.
Now I get it.
Yeah, now I'm pissed.
Yeah, I'm glad they took that All-Star game.
Right?
Because I'm thirsty, like right now.
Yeah.
Right? But thank goodness
I know.
I'm far enough away from Georgia that I can have a sip of water. Oh, right now, as a
People
matter of
don't
fact.
understand how far 150 feet is. They don't understand it.
Yep.
It's like 1,500 miles-ish.
Ish.
New York prohibits providing meat or drink or refreshments to people, except refreshments having a retail value of less than $1, which are given without identifying the person or entity supplying the provisions.
Wait, a retail value? Nothing in the state of New York costs less than $1.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, but you can't be provided, like nobody can walk up and give you a side of beef in line in New York.
Oh, well, this is why we moved.
That's why we moved. It was way too oppressive when we're trying to vote. Bastards.
Right?
If I want a side of beef, I should be able to accept it in any line in America.
Get the man a side of beef.
If somebody's going to provide me with pork shoulder while I'm in line, I should be able to get it.
Right?
Yes.
I got some cattle. I'm driving to the town.
Yes.
Out of precinct voting, okay? States vary in how they handle provisional ballots cast in the wrong precinct. 25 states don't count provisional ballots cast in the wrong precinct. 19 states, including Georgia, count some races on some ballots. For example, Georgia counts whatever race voters were eligible for inside the county. Oh, okay. So let's say I live in Tarrant County,
okay,
but I vote in Dallas County. Okay, they won't accept the votes for anybody who is in Dallas County because I'm not a resident, so I can't be voting on those. But they would accept, this is what I'm getting from this, they would accept my vote for president or senator.
So Dallas County would have a ballot that would feature your U.S. senators and your president race, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that the left really, really wants to cheat on.
So part of the ballot would be accepted in Georgia. That's reasonable.
Right. You just wouldn't be able to. So if you're voting there in Dallas County, you're just not going to be able to vote on your city council over in Tarrant because that ballot isn't over there.
Right. Unbelievable. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. Election officials can't count such votes unless they're cast after 5 p.m. What? Georgia counts whatever races voters were eligible for inside the county. SB 202 changed the way Georgia handles provisional ballots in the wrong precinct. Under the law, officials cannot count such votes unless they're cast after 5 p.m. Okay, that's weird. It's unclear whether any other state has a provision that makes acceptance of such ballots contingent on when they were cast. I'd have to hear about why that's the case. That's weird.
I wonder if... I don't know. Does that limit the time for fraud if you're ballot harvesting and you're like, hey, we got to get these out-of-county ballots manipulated?
Maybe that's the thought process. I don't know.
I don't know.
Don't know. All right. 888-900-3393. But really, other than that, which is a strange provision, and who cares? Because how often is that the case? There's just really nothing about this that should be alarming to anyone. They expanded the voting rights for virtually everyone, and it made it easier to vote in just about every single case.
Just think about this. What you just read there was called by the President of the United States Jim Crow on steroids.
Yeah.
What does that
That's
do to the memory of those who actually pushed back and stood up against Jim Crow laws?
It's a slap in the face to them.
It is a total slap in the face.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. Wow. All right. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Now in Britain, COVID passport trials are about to begin.
Oh, today's the day.
Boris Johnson is set to unveil the test scheme for the venues today. This will include places like theaters, when you go to a movie theater, stadiums. The passports could also be used in pubs, restaurants, nightclubs, and cinemas to show who is protected. The pilot scheme will begin after work on an updated National Health System COVID app when that's completed.
This is going to be exciting.
And will show the vaccine status. The plan is a sign that Prime Minister Boris Johnson will give vaccine passports the green light today.
Separate us more.
Good. Their introduction is certain to trigger a political problem, with MPs issuing a joint statement against the passports.
Mm-hmm. This is the country where they're cracking down on public protests, too. This is going to end well, Britain. And, of course, this is going to be the precursor for us over here in America.
Sure. Right? Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Governor Ron DeSantis has signed an executive order banning COVID-19 passports.
I love this guy. This is a leader right here.
Really,
seriously,
he is on fire. Mm-hmm. He's been really great on liberty.
Yeah.
Following the signing of another piece of legislation on Monday, DeSantis took the opportunity to tell Floridians that he would never force them to have a COVID-19 vaccine passport and asked for the support of the legislature in this endeavor. We need the legislature just to come in and say this is not happening in Florida. Mm-hmm. The order cites the privacy entitled to patients' medical records and that the COVID-19 vaccine is not mandatory. No Florida government entity or its subdivisions, agents, or assigns shall be permitted to issue vaccine passports, vaccine passes, or other standardized documentation for the purpose of certifying an individual's COVID-19 vaccination status to a third party, or otherwise publish or share any individual's COVID-19 vaccination record or similar health information.
Good.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Right.
The order also will not allow business to demand proof of a COVID-19 vaccine, because then you'll hear,
well, the businesses can do
right.
what they want.
Right. This is the cop-out.
They're a private business. They can do that if they want.
Oh, so you're good with
them do that if they want.
Private business having access to what other medical records of yours?
Yeah, what happened to the HIPAA laws?
Yep. What else are you good with them knowing? Do you have to submit a blood test as well? Where does this end?
Huh. So they're not going to allow businesses to do that. Good. I love that. Good. How great is that?
And what's so fun about this is they don't even know how long these vaccines that you are putting into your body, how long they're good for at this point.
No, that's true.
Still learning that.
They do not know. You might need a booster shot every 6 months. We're not sure.
We don't know. You're a guinea pig. Sorry, we just don't know right now.
I mean, Fauci admitted, yeah, we don't know. We don't know. You might need a booster shot. And it might be every 6 months.
Yeah.
Or it might be every year. Or he said it might be every 18 months or every 2 years. We just don't know right now.
And we don't know exactly what this chemical makeup is doing in your body. So we're going to be sure to continue to pump it in there for the rest of your life.
Until you grow a tail. We're just going to keep filling you full of it.
Yep. By the way, did you see that 45 attorneys generals cracking down on these COVID vaccine cards?
45.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I hope you downloaded it last week like some of us did.
Wow. All right. 888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed. Coming up tomorrow. See you then.
Pat Gray. Only on the Blaze Radio Network.